your mind inside its own self, because it's higher and beyond you for the time being, and you're only working at it. So there's a certain aspect of the very idea itself which is higher, and that's something we could say that there's in every genuine idea. There's always such profundity that it always remains beyond the person working at it, no matter how brilliant he may be, until a certain point when he can be said that he really understood it. Finally, it's now become part of his, what you might call his knowledge and his wardrobe of seichel. Then maybe to a certain extent that part of it tends to disappear. And maybe not. Maybe in some ways not. We could do that. And that is particularly when you learn anything to do with Torah. In other words, l'chayra, he's talking here be'ikar how the union is in kedusha. He's not talking about every, and that's going to be a very interesting question. Would this apply to all forms of using your seichel, or does it apply only to kedusha? That's something we're going to have to deal with as we go along. But anyway, what happens is if you're studying a matter in Torah, then no matter how much you grasp that, no matter how much you feel that you've got it, there's always a certain aspect in Torah which is beyond us, and it's how do you call it, surrounding us. Not that we're surrounding it, but is that is surrounding us. And he says, no matter how you'll see it, you may want to claim that later maybe as it were, I pass over that stage. But he said, but at the time that you're trying to grasp it, for sure that is happening to you. That the height and the profundity in that which you haven't got yet, well, that surrounds you. So in Kumto is an amazing picture that on the one hand you are surrounding with your seichel the idea, otherwise you're not going to get it. You've got to limit it, you've got to bring it in, you've got to make it clear to yourself, etc. And that's your act. Then we say that with the deeper power of Bina, this as it were becomes involved inside yourself even deeper and even more. But he said there's another aspect at the same time, particularly when you're trying to understand it, that there's the profundity which you haven't grasped yet, and a certain power of makif in the idea itself which is surrounding your seichel. In other words, at Imke, we've got two opposite, as it were, movements which are occurring together, and they're affecting one another in the most intimate way, as it were, at the same instant. You are being makif the seichel, and even a deeper way in your bina, it's being mukaf inside your seichel, and at the same time the seichel is surrounding you. The concept of the seichel, they are, as it were, embracing and surrounding you. That's the most amazing picture and concept. And this is what we call in Tanya the yichud of the seichel and the muskal. Yichud seichel or muskal, the unity of the mind and the thing which it appreciates. And so the Alter Rebbe has already built a picture for me that I have like two things which he's going to say a bit later, that in Gashmis that can't happen. You can have things that are united by being one alongside the other, being close to the other, grasping the other, shaking the other's hands, to use an expression. Although one thing should be surrounded, and at the same time it is surrounding, and both of you are doing the same thing at the same instant. Yeah, that doesn't exist. And yet, says the Alter Rebbe, in the idea of seichel, and we're going to see for sure in the Inyan from Torah. So Kumto is that if we take a halacha in Torah and we learn it that way, in the proper way that you're supposed to learn, it is that you are completely and utterly involved in that halacha in a way that it embraces you and you embrace it all at the same, in the same instant and in the same inyan itself. It's mukaf and makif. Akol biyachad. It's mamela, you form with it in a most unbelievable union of a sort. Who's inside that halacha? He himself. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So just like you're being teifus there, halacha, you're being teifus. HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'koydi b'atzmi. That's the picture. It's a complex one, but it's an amazing. Like everything in Tanya, it's mind-boggling. So that'll maybe be enough for us for today. And Hashem should help us that we learn Torah in that way, that we grasp it, we put it deeper into our Bina, ultimately it surrounds us and holds us, as it were. But some people want to suggest that that's eating of Das. But how that would fit in exactly with Das, that needs another deep explanation. And I think for today that's sufficient. That's all.